Greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen, to another brand spanking new playthrough here on EPG Plays. I'm Exapirida, I'm Gamer of course, and today we are going to cap off the Donkey Kong Country trilogy at long last with Donkey Kong Country 3 on the Game Boy Advance. Now, before we go any further, I should say I believe that this is the earliest surviving file I have of this game. And of all the 3 games on GBA, this is the one I have the longest history with. So, as far as I can remember, this might be my original save file. So, say goodbye to the original save file, everyone. It's, this one I think is from the review, but enough about that. Goodbye! Actually, that's not what I want to do. In the version of DKC2 for GBA, you press the B button to confirm on that. I guess they changed it. Yes, I want to... Okay. So, I'm sure this is riveting. We'll get to the actual game in just a minute. Okay, now we are prepared. Let me just double check that the... Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Let's hop right in with the single player game. And how about we'll go with EPG for EPG Plays and whatnot. Alright, so without further ado, enjoy the plot! Wasn't that great? You want to know what the best part about that was? Is that that's not actually in the game. For some reason, there is no intro sequence in this game. I made what you just watched, because it just didn't feel right not having it there. The first 2 games on GBA had some kind of intro cutscene to sort of lay out what the hell is going on, so that you know what the goal is and why it is that. Yeah, and for some reason, DKC3 on GBA doesn't have that, and believe it or not, that's not the only unfortunate omission from this particular game on GBA, but yeah, we'll have plenty of time for more of that later. Let's add more plot here, shall we?
Hello there, it's me, Mrs. Wrinkly Kong. I found life too hectic at school with all those naughty Kremlings pestering me all the time, so I've decided to find my inner self. It's so relaxing here, although it still seems like something is missing. Perhaps you can help? While you're on your travels, keep an eye out for the strange banana birds. If you manage to find any, bring them back here. Go on then, off you go. One other thing, you can save your progress at any time by pressing start to access your inventory. Simply choose save game and your progress will be saved. When crossing the jungle, remember to look left, right, and then up for falling monkeys.
And if you don't like the lovely voice acting I have contributed to this Let's Play, then you don't have to watch it. Anyways, Funky's probably got more to tell us.
Yo, Dixie, what's happening? I've set up my smoking new boat shop on this island, but that's not all. I've also brought your excellent cousin Kitty Kong along for the ride. He may be a toddler, but if you let him throw you upwards, you'll almost reach the stars. Oh yeah! And if you throw him, his humongous body can smash through the floor in some areas. Trust me.
And as you can see, we have new mini games to play in Donkey Kong Country 3.
Cool, dudes, I knew you'd be up for it. Right, here's what you need to do. Those gremlings have cluttered up all my shortcuts downriver. Why don't you see if you can blast their scaly butts out of the water? Use the control pad to steer your boat, then the B button to accelerate and the A button to fire your gun. Destroy 10 and I'll reward you big time.
Alright, so it's pretty self-explanatory what we're doing. Now, I believe that this boat mini game is based on some game Rare published on the SNES. I think it's called Cobra's Triangle. It's on Rare Replay. I know that much, but basically the goal here is to kill all the Kremlings before they reach the end of the area. And this is actually, if you ask me, the hardest boat mission in the game, and it's the first one. You really do have to haul ass to kill these guys before time runs out, or... Yeah, it looks like I've lost. I might be able to make it. Nope. So you basically get roughly 30 seconds to kill 10 of these boats. And if you fuck up, well... Ah, shit, I didn't want to do that. I'm just so used to button mashing, so now we get to drive back in there. And we'll talk about the boat later. But... Okay, so... Let's select the mission again. And skip through all this text. I guess I will give it this. I do kind of prefer Funky's Fishing the most out of most of the mini games I've shown off on the channel so far from these games. Just because it was a simple little game you could play between stages and it didn't have too much depth going on. So I guess compared to the Gyrocopter, these are a little bit easier to play, a little bit easier to get into. You don't have complicated controls of the Gyrocopter and some of the level design that went into that, but at the same time, I don't know, I don't really enjoy these mini games all that much, if I'm being perfectly honest. They're playable, they're not the worst thing I've ever played. I don't know, this time, it took me like 5 tries to do this in my practice playthrough, so I guess it's a good thing I practiced, but, you know, still.
You sure showed those Kremlings. Here, take these as a small reward.
And as you can see, there is a banana bird in that cage over there. And that might be the reward you get for finishing all of the boating missions with Funky Kong. Now that I have a coin, but it's probably not nearly enough to show off what I want to show off, so we'll come back for what I'm thinking of later. Alright, so let's hop in the boat real quick. And I skipped over that lovely... Funky actually has some pretty fun lines in this game, so next time I'll be sure to actually let him talk. Come on, boat, move it. Okay. So, there is a hidden banana bird cave over here.
So, you found one of the secret banana bird caves. To release the imprisoned bird, you must watch the sequence of lights and then repeat it exactly using the directions on the control pad. It seems like a waste of time to me. Why can't these game developers come up with something more interesting?
I feel like that's commentary from the developers, but I digress. So it's basically a dime store, Simon Says. The crystals will light up. In the original version of SNES, it went with the face buttons, but obviously there isn't a diamond-shaped face button thing on the GBA, so it just goes by the D-pad, which is similar enough. Okay, so we're starting off with our first level, that being Lakeside Limbo, and right off the bat, I'm sure you've noticed. Okay, so first of all, I should say, why am I playing the GBA version of this game? Well, in case you haven't been watching my previous playthroughs, I just finished a playthrough of Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Advance, and I have previously Let's Played all 3 of these games, the SNES versions of these games, on Game Mavericks. So, today I'm finishing off the trilogy with this version of this game so that I can finally be done. Oh, look at that arrow at the top. I've never seen that before. It must be some kind of weird... It's one of those things you don't notice on a handheld screen, but I digress. Okay, so over here, we have one of the many gimmicks in DKC3. This is coin. DK coins are back, or hero coins as they are also called. from Donkey Kong Country 2. If you remember from Donkey Kong Country 2, the purpose of the hero coins was that Diddy Kong needed to collect them all in order to prove himself to be a true hero like Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong and all the rest. And that was basically the best ending of that game, was you getting all of the DK coins. And I think there were like 40-some in the original game and 68 in the remake because of the scrapbook and whatnot. So DK coins are back, but this time they decided to make every one of them a puzzle. What was fun about the DK coins in the second game was that they were just basic collectibles. Like, they rewarded you for exploring the stage, similar to bonus rooms, but more directly, I suppose. And every once in a while, it would be tied to the end level bonus thing or something. But in this game, every single DK coin is collectible from one of the coin enemies we saw. They're basically Kremlings that are covered with armor, and you have to use the steel barrels to ricochet off the wall and hit them that way. And the problem with it is that it's either really so easy to figure out the puzzle that it's like not even, like it becomes pointless, or it's really annoying. And either way doesn't make for, you know, what I consider, I don't see why they felt the need to do that. Like, maybe every once in a while there could be a DK coin where you had to defeat a coin, but I don't know, I feel like they could have come up with something more interesting, like maybe have a few different ways you could get DK coins. I don't know. And there are a few more things I could probably mention, but you know, we've got an entire playthrough ahead of us to do that. But one thing I should probably mention right off the bat, because I'm sure that most of the people who are watching this probably have seen my remake or re-break episode on this. They probably know my thoughts on this particular game, the trilogy, and in terms of the, you know, what I think of the remake as well. But I do think it needs, I'd like to make my position clear on this right from the get-go. Out of the 3 games in the trilogy, Donkey Kong Country 3 is, you know, I think it's my least favorite Donkey Kong Country game, period. Like, I would rather play Returns of Tropical Freeze over this, which, you know, those are both good games, mind you, for all the complaining I've done about the bonus room system in those games. Returns and Tropical Freeze are fun, well-designed, but also very challenging games that I really enjoy playing. Donkey Kong Country 3 is also a good 2D platforming game, a good action platforming game, and certainly if you enjoyed the first 2, I would recommend it. Just to cap off the trilogy, if nothing else. You will get something out of this. But this game, really what it boils down to, if you ask me, is level design. I don't think the level design in Donkey Kong Country 3 is as good as it was in the second game, or the first game for that matter. And, you know, really, it's not so much a problem now, and I'll save most of my critiques for later in the playthrough when they become relevant. But I do feel like, especially if you've seen my review, then you know that my position on this. The game starts out pretty promising. Like, the first half of Donkey Kong Country 3 is pretty solid, I'd say. The levels are pretty well designed. The bosses in this game are actually pretty solid as well. But the moment you reach the halfway mark, it gets... I'm not gonna lie, there's some pretty shitty levels in this game that I really hate playing. And, well, we're not gonna be getting to them for a while. I think it's just a heads up. I know that there are lots of people out there who really like Donkey Kong Country 3, who consider it their favorite game in the trilogy. Like, I know my friend Frank, the Game and Tank, or Knuckles333, his second channel he made that's more popular than his first one. I'd hate to be him, that's all I can say. For God's sake. Alright, I gotta focus on this, or else we're gonna be here forever. There we go. Take that coin, and one difference you might notice from the original version is that you do not need to pick up the DK coin after it is dropped in this version of the game. The moment you kill the coin, you just get it, which I do appreciate. Alright, over here we have the second of the new minigames introduced for this version. Welcome to my trading area. I'm fed up with you young whippersnappers having all the fun.
So I'm improving my skills for my next big adventure in Cranky Kong Country. You can help me train if you like, but I'm no charity. I need to raise cash to fund my new project, so I'm gonna charge you for the privilege of training with a master. As it's early in the game, I'll just let you train for me for one of those stupid silver coins. The ones with those freaky bears' heads on them. Help me deflect these spiky critters with my trusty shield. Use the control pad to move my shield into the correct blocking position. You'll get a reward based on your performance.
Okay, so here's the thing about Cranky's training with Cranky. I think that in terms of the idea behind this minigame, it's a pretty fun one. It's you know, much like Funky's Fishing or the Candies dancing minigame from the first one, it's just a simple, straightforward little minigame that you can do between levels that isn't too intensive. And I think that, you know, the point is, it's a good idea. Problem, this minigame is a lot like, what the hell is it called? Bag a Bug from Donkey Kong Country 2 GBA, what was his name? Not Cudgel. Not Clobber. Clubba. You know, the minigame that you played with Clubba in the second game.
Excellent skills. You managed to deflect all those spiky critters. You have completed the Master's Challenge. Take this bird. I'm sure it will come in useful. Somehow.
And we're just like that, we already have 2 banana birds under our belt. By the way, this will be a 103% run, just in case that wasn't clear. I'll not be doing a 105% run, because for one thing, I'm not sure if that's a thing in the GBA version. And for another thing, I don't want to have to play the alternate difficulty. But I will at least show it off in the, I will show it off in a bonus part at the end. Okay, so here's Smuggler's Cove. We have another banana bird challenge. And that's pretty easy. Hold on, I just got a message from Jay's Reviews. Sorry about that, folks, I'm back. So that's our second banana bird done and over with. So over here you can see that something has changed on this map from the SNES GBA version. Introducing the Brothers Bear. These are the NPCs that can be found throughout the Northern Cremisphere.
Hello there, how's it going, kitty? Bachelor is my name, and I've built this fantastic new pad. I could really do with your help, though. I'm looking for someone to share my wonderful home with. Help me find the girl of my dreams. I need a beautiful rose and a box of chocolates. Could you get them for me? If you do, I'll trade you that stupid yellow bird that keeps getting feathers in my hot tub. Here, take this. It might come in useful. Clear off then. I need to take a bath and prepare myself for my hot date.
Alright, so in the original version of this game, a different member of the Brothers Bear could be found on that little island, but that member of the Brothers Bear has been moved to a different location, so he's still in the game and whatnot. Okay. So I'm not sure where I left off in terms of commentary. I think I was talking about something before I reached Cranky there. I mean, like, I know that there are a lot of people who really enjoy Donkey Kong Country 3 the most of the trilogy, and I guess I kind of understand that. Like, if it's a lot of the innovations from the second game have carried over, so I could see how someone might like it more than the first one. But when just compared to the second game, this game feels just like the second game was such a strong sequel in terms of just how much it improved, and just in terms of a lot of the little touches that made it such a fun game to play. Like how you basically spent the whole game climbing up Crocodile Isle from the bottom, just how the tension escalated over the course of the game, and how... Oh, it looks like I missed the Unguard in this level. Alright, I might have to show that off later, but thanks to Dixie's helicopter spin returning from the second game, we can make it work. Okay, and I just become on guard anyway. By the way, that thing right there, that's a lurchin. Lurchins are like underwater zingers. They are everywhere in this game, so get used to them. And zingers are also not in this game. Instead we have these robotic green and red bees called buzzes. It's like buzz with an exclamation point, and that will be on the exam, so make sure you make note of that, folks. These are buzzes. And, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't bring them back for Donkey Kong Country, or Donkey Kong 64 rather, because you do fight robotic zingers in Frantic Factory, I think. But for some reason, oh, I just screwed myself out of that bonus room. Well, shit. Might as well just kill myself and save myself some trouble down the line, because otherwise I'll just end up having to, you know. By the way, you might have noticed just now, there is no death jingle in this game. I don't know why. The first and second remakes had it, but for some reason, third game on GBA does not have the, oh, for God's sake, game. This does not bode well for the Exo Paradigm gamer. Okay. Okay, so let's go nab Kitty. By the way, you do want to be collecting these bear coins. Oh, and something interesting about the bear coins is that they have the heads of the Brothers Bear models from the original game, even though the Brothers Bears in this game look pretty different, actually. More on that later. But yeah, I do not know. For God's sake, game. Okay, I've got to focus on this. This is a mechanic that rarely gets used in this game. Jesus Christ. Usually I can do it. There we go. There are only 2 levels in this game where you need to use that ability. Basically, Kiddy Kong can jump onto the water and skip on it like a skipping stone, you know? But like I said, there are only 2 times in the entire game where you are very encouraged to use it. So it just becomes one of many ideas that, well, I guess mechanically, I should talk about Diddy and Kitty here. Lots of people hate Kitty. I don't care. He plays just fine. His character design doesn't really offend me that much, so whatever. Here's the other thing they introduced. You can throw, like Funky was getting at earlier, you can use Kitty to break through the floor. One of the things I liked about the team-up move in the second game was that it made it easier to climb up shafts and stuff, or like reach higher ledges, and also to kill enemies as well. Like, you could basically throw Diddy or Dixie at an enemy to kill them really quickly. Like those blue Cruncha guys went down very easily with that. But with this game, it basically means that you have to swap to Kitty in order to get to higher platforms or to kill enemies, because that floor breaking move is next to useless. There are so few times in this entire game where that becomes useful. And because, you know, when you're throwing Kitty at people, the throw is slower, first of all, and you have to hit people from a certain angle, I think. I don't know, I don't really use it all that often because it's slower. So all it really amounts to is you having to press the select button every once in a while to swap to Kitty, which isn't the end of the world or anything. It's just, I wonder what the point was if they weren't going to use it more, you know what I mean? So here we have another easy, and I say easy even though I fucked up. We have another easy coin puzzle, if you even want to call it a puzzle. And, you know, they're all so fucking easy. I really don't understand the point of coin. But I have already covered that pretty amply at this point. So here we have our next bonus room here. And because this is the first part, I'll probably go a little longer just so that we have a little more time to get into the thick of things. There we go. I lost my train of thought. I guess just mechanically in terms of the difference between Dixie and Kitty. Kitty is basically Donkey Kong 2.0. If you played the first Donkey Kong Country game and you know how Donkey Kong himself handles, Kitty is pretty much the exact same thing, except he can't do the hand slap move, And he can do that water skipping thing, and you can use him through the team up move to break through floors. But it is, like I said, it is so situational. I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 instances in the entire game where you use that to get like a bonus room or an extra collectible or something. But like both of Kitty's abilities are extremely underutilized. It's not like Dixie's helicopter spin where it's something that's useful all the time. In any situation, it's more like Cranky Kong's cane from Tropical Freeze, where like, unless if you need to bounce off of spikes, you never want to play as Cranky. Like Dixie is the de facto go-to second character in that game because her hover thing can basically do what Diddy's jetpack can do, except she goes upwards too. So why would you ever want to play as Diddy? But I don't know, I digress. We're not playing that game yet. Yes, I did say yet. I'd have to practice the hell out of that game to be prepared for a playthrough, because the Returns games are way harder than the original trilogy, if you ask me. Which isn't bad or anything. I'm just saying. I've had a lot more practice with these 3 games, first of all. I've only played through Tropical Freeze and Returns maybe 2 times a pop. Whereas I played through this 3rd game and the 2nd game and even the 1st game more times than I could count. Because they're just more replayable, if you ask me. The gimmick with this level is we are playing as a new animal buddy, Ellie the elephant, who has the same movement physics as Rambi, as Lyceolia, one of the viewers of this channel, has made me aware, and as I probably noticed from previous playthroughs myself. And Ellie is basically, she has a few different abilities. Ellie's actually pretty fun, if you ask me. And no, there is no Rambi in this game. But I'm cool with that. This is the 3rd game after all. I don't mind them trying out new things, but Ellie's gimmick is that she has a few abilities. She can suck in barrels with the trunks and throw them at people, which I guess is not too different from what the Kongs can already do, but because she can suck them towards her, they have some puzzle elements with that. But additionally, she can also suck in water in her trunk. We'll see more of that in later stages. So Ellie's pretty fun, if you ask me. But the gimmick of this stage, I didn't actually get to show it off, is if you step into the light, or if those sneaks is what they're called. Unlike the neeks from the 2nd game, these are sneaks. Get it? And here we have our 3rd minigame for this. Well, would you believe it? Hello, Kongs. Welcome to my all-new sideshow game. My show's on the road and it's in every land. The cost of this game, 2 coins in hand. There are some great prizes on offer today, so come on in and choose to play. Just do that and you're away. So come on, Kongs, and have a go. You could well win, you never know. Will you give it a try? Sorry, kitty, no minors allowed, but don't be sad, it's not all that bad. Now it's up to you, Dixie. Try to collect as many gold stars as you can before the time runs out. Watch out for the spiky obstructions though, as hitting these will make you drop any stars that you've already collected. Pressing the A button will make you jump, while pressing down on the control pad will make you duck. So, welcome to yet another underdeveloped idea in Donkey Kong Country 3 and Game Boy Advance. These are the, I don't know, I guess we'll call them the VR minigame. It's pretty simple, which again, is fine. Like, the ideas behind these minigames were fine. The problem is that they aren't fleshed out at all. And I don't know, as long as I'm offering my opinion on the game as a whole, I should say that this is by far, in my opinion, the weakest GBA port in the trilogy. And we'll get more into that later. In fact, you've probably noticed a lot of the things that it fucked up on already. Not the least of which being that there is no intro cutscene for some reason. But there are plenty of other things, and one of them is that the minigames are so underdeveloped. Like, there's a fun nugget of an idea here, it's just not, taken to its full potential. Very good, you did better than I expected. You got 92 out of 100 stars. Here, have this banana bird. You were great. I hope you'll be back again when the prizes are even bigger and better. We might be able to visit one of my favorite characters soon. Now that we've got more, and yeah. I keep losing track of what I'm talking about, folks. Anyways, here we have our first boss. This is Belch of the Barrel. And when I first played this game, this boss creeped the fuck out of me. Look at that bloodshot eye. Like, this thing is an abomination. And all the bosses are, now that I think about it. And that's it, that's the first boss. I have gotten into a nasty rut when I did my practice playthrough, where I kept throwing the bug at the precise timing that it would hit Belch in the teeth, but other than that, it's a really easy boss.
Well done, young Kongs. That overgrown barrel will make good firewood. Off you go then. You need to head for Cremwood Forest.
Alright, and that takes care of the first world in the game. And wow, we are way ahead of schedule. I guess when you take out all the fucking scrapbook photos and golden feathers and all that stuff, it really shortens it out.
I'm the Tower of Power. I'm the Tower of Power, too sweet to be sour. Yo, Kongs, got anything new yet? Hang 5, Kongs.
Okay. So, we could have visited this character earlier, but I didn't have any money, so I wanted to wait until then.
Hello there, young Kongs. My name's Bazaar, and this is my general store. All of my brothers are scattered around these islands. Pop in and say hello if you think you spot one of them on your travels.
And so this is a store. This is where we're going to be spending our bear coins on. So let's see. Let's start with these.
Well, I ventured up there once, but if you want to know what I discovered, it'll cost you 2 coins. So what do you think? Are you interested? Well, once I got to the castle grounds, I saw a sign which said, "Keep off our land." So I ran off.
I love that.
Quite a lot, actually, but if you want me to tell you, it'll cost you 13 coins. So how about it, Kongs? Would you like to hear more? Well, some are hidden on islands and mountains, and you'll need Funky's assistance to get to them. How many secret caves are there? The answer's in the number of coins you paid for this information. Ha ha! This shell was found at the bottom of Lake Orangatanga and is pretty rare. At 5 bear coins, it's a bargain. Would you like to purchase this fine specimen? Just a second, Kongs, you don't have enough for this. Thanks for your business, Kongs. It really was a pleasure serving you.
Okay, so what else should I note at this point? You know, on second thought, we've already finished the first world, and this is probably a good amount of time for the first part now that I think about it. We can continue our discussion of Donkey Kong Country 3 and some of the differences between versions, because there's so much shit to talk about this one, in episode 2. So come back for part 2, and we will head on to Cremwood Forest and see if we can uncover any more information about what happened to Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. Until then, I'm Exaparadigm Gamer, and I hope you enjoyed the episode.